How's it, everyone? As you may know, filling out a credit card application can be really intimidating. It's always a mix of emotions of like excitement, anxiety, and stress. Are you going to get accepted or are you going to get rejected? And no one likes to be rejected. Yes, if you are a more experienced credit card holder and you're a little bit further down the road in your credit card journey, then maybe you aren't so nervous. Maybe you already know what to expect and what to put on a credit card application. In fact, you've probably filled out dozens of these applications and it seems super easy and almost like second nature. But what if you aren't like that? What if this is your first credit card application or one of the first credit card applications that you have, or maybe this is the first time you're applying to a certain credit card company? Did you fill it out correctly? Did you miss anything, or did you put the wrong information? Today, I'll be teaching you on some things that you absolutely do not want to put on your credit card application. Because at the end of the day, I want you to have the best chance that you could possibly have when it comes to applying for a new credit card. That way you can move on to the things like figuring out how to hit that minimum spend requirement or setting up your account, like the fun stuff of actually getting accepted for a credit card. First and foremost, how exactly do these credit card applications work? You don't need to know the whole process or all the little details on how these things work, but if you do understand the basic gist of it, the basic foundation of how credit card applications work, then you might have a slight advantage. This may not be a surprise to you at all, but surprise, surprise, most, if not all credit card applications are first reviewed or processed through an algorithm, an AI, like Siri herself will go through your credit card application first. These credit card applications are automated, and depending on what you input in the fields, it will either accept you or reject you or give you a pending notice. Sometimes you do get automatically declined, and that hurts. And I'm sure we've all been there before, at least once. Hopefully not though. It really is a humbling experience. But sometimes you might get a pending result or a pending review, and you'll need to wait a few days because it'll actually go through a human being for a manual review. And at that time, an actual human will go through your credit card application and decide whether or not it's a thumbs up or just throw your application in the trash. Regardless if it's a human or an algorithm, the credit card company is really just looking for one thing, and that's how risky are you? From the bank's point of view, an ideal customer is someone with low risk. They want someone to spend their money, but also be able to pay it back in full and on time. If you can't do those things, or if it seems like you can't do those things, then of course the credit card company is not going to accept your application. Obviously, that's where your credit score plays a huge role in, but these underwriters and the algorithms are looking for more things than just that. Now that you know the basic idea of what these AI and underwriters are looking for or how a credit card application works, let's jump into specifically of what things you should not put on your credit card application. The first thing you should never put on your credit card application is the wrong income. Now wait, because there's levels to this and it may not seem as straightforward as you may think. One of the biggest things to note is to include your gross income and not your net income. Your gross income is usually the number that you see on your job description or on the job posting itself. For example, if you see data analyst $100,000 a year, that's probably going to be the gross income. That's different from net income, which is the actual amount that you take home. Your net income is the actual amount of money that you receive after the deductions are made, such as taxes, Roth IRA, or even Social Security. So using that same 100,000 data analyst job, your net income may actually be like $70,000 a year instead of that $100,000 that you originally saw. But since the credit card companies don't care about your net income on your credit card application, you will just put $100,000. Now, on top of your normal full-time income, you actually want to put all of your income that you make on the side. If you're making money somehow outside of your normal 9-to-5 job, you're going to want to include that number, that income, on top of your gross income when it comes to your credit card application. Some examples of this extra income may be like interest, dividends, coupon payments, and other types of investment income or tips and commissions. You can also include allowance, child support, and trust fund payouts. But what are some things that don't count towards your income? Unemployment insurance benefits, lottery winnings, gifts, financial aid, and other loans. Another income that you could add to that final gross income amount is your household income. This can include income from a spouse, a partner, or another member of your household. But ideally, make sure you have independent income, or else you'll probably need a cosigner for your credit card. Now, a lot of people ask, can you lie about your income on your credit card application? And the answer is Yeah. Okay, wait. Let me be clear, because you don't want to put an income that's either too high or too low. You have to remember that this income amount has to be justifiable. Obviously, you wouldn't want to put a lower income amount anyway, because you're probably going to get rejected. But at the same time, you don't want to put an income amount that's too much higher than your actual income amount, because again, you'll probably get rejected, but this time you actually might get blacklisted from that credit card company. So if you were to lie or kind of estimate that final income amount, ideally you want to make it higher than what you actually make. But the question is, how high should you make it? Just remember that you're doing this at your own risk. Do I do it on my credit card applications? Yes, and that's because I only buff my actual income amount by just a few $1,000s. For example, if my total real gross income amount was $17,000, I would simply just buff it up or change it to $20,000. Is that a lie? Yes, kind of, but it's a small lie. And in this case, it's okay to have small lies. I'm sure honestly you could buff or change your income a little bit more depending on your specific situation, but just remember that that amount has to be justifiable. It has to be believable. Don't make it a crazy amount than your actual gross income. Because yes, the system will realize if that income is just such a crazy amount, it's going to trigger a red flag and your application will most likely be rejected. So if you're going to lie about your income, don't lie too much. And one of the reasons why income is such a huge factor when it comes to your credit card application is because of the debt to income ratio. The debt to income ratio divides the total of all your monthly debt payments by your gross monthly income, thus giving you a percentage. Your goal is to keep that DTI or debt to income ratio as low as possible, because the creditors, the underwriters, the people who are looking at your credit card application, like the algorithm, are taking these things into consideration. Ideally, you want to keep your DTI to around 35% or lower. For example, if you had a total debt per month of $1,000 and your total gross monthly income is $2,000, your DTI is 50%. 50% is not an ideal DTI. And the people or computers going through your credit card application will favor a lower DTI, because that just means that you are a lower risk to them. With all these things to think about just in the income section, be sure to not rush over it. You want to think it through and make sure that you put the right amount. I mean, technically, you really shouldn't rush through any part of your credit card application, but especially not that part. Another thing that you should never put on your credit card application is to say that you are retired or self-employed. You don't want the credit card company to think that you're just chilling and relaxing and just spending all this money and having a good time in retirement. And even if you do own your own company, and if your company is doing well, if you put self-employed in that section, it will indicate to the credit card company that you are a slightly higher risk. But if you are a freelancer or self-employed, you own your own company, what should you put down instead? You should select employed, and where it says business name, company, title, etc., put the name of your company there. Put president, put CEO, put founder as your title, and that is going to help you a lot more. 9 times out of 10, that underwriter is not going to actually physically look up your company to see how big it is, to see how small it is, and the algorithm or automated system is not going to look it up either. The main thing that these guys are looking for are that you select employed under that drop down menu. That's because being self-employed is risky. It is a higher risk even if your company's big or small. Again, it is important to present yourself as best as possible, so by selecting employed, that's going to give you the best chance there is. And to explain things further, you want to make sure you choose the right type of business that you do or that you are in. If you say you are a weed farmer, a cryptocurrency investor, a real estate investor, these things don't look too good for a bank or credit card issuer. Even the type of business that you are in, the credit card issuer, the bank, the credit card company are still looking at that and deciding if it's of a high risk or if it's low risk. Remember, the ultimate goal here is to make yourself as low risk as possible when it comes to these credit card applications. Another side tip about this section of choosing which type of business or what kind of business you conduct, it does actually affect your credit line as well. For example, if you select retail instead of sales, you might actually be given a lower credit line. These credit card companies will favor certain business types or business services over others. Just be aware of that. Depending on your business type or business service, you could be rejected, like if you're that crypto investor or whatever, but at the same time, it could also affect your credit line. If your credit card application has a field to enter why you need this money, why you need this credit card, you should never put to buy more real estate, to buy more cryptocurrency, to go on a vacation or anything like that. These are pretty obvious and extreme examples. Yes, I understand that, but you want to make sure the credit card company knows that you won't be using their money all willy-nilly and irresponsibly. You want to show them that you are a reputable business owner, you have a reputable business, and you want to use this business to make the world a better place with your product or service or whatever it may be. So instead, some better options to put in that field are to help grow your business, marketing, advertising, to buy more infrastructure, to get more supplies, etc., etc. It's like you're pitching to people on Shark Tank. You want to make yourself look as appealing as possible, even if you do have to fluff things up a little bit. Filling out a credit card application seems pretty straightforward, and for the most part, it is. But these are little tweaks that could be the difference between being accepted and rejected. Like I always say though, if you do get rejected or get anything other than instantly accepted, make sure to call that recon line to give yourself another chance. You could also watch this video to learn more about how you can increase your odds of getting approved for a credit card application. And please don't forget to show me some love on this video by giving it a like and subscribing down below if you want to see more videos like this. Other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. Have a fun rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Shoots.